It is quite common in politics for small things to go unnoticed. Yeah, small things that do not appear to be significant at all. They normally go unnoticed, and yet they are very significant. Some would even shoot back and say, Chris, those are petty details. Okay, I need to ask you a question. Yeah, supposing you're about to sign a contract, a very important contract. Would you say that the small print, those small details are petty details? Would you then rush very quickly to sign this contract, ignoring the petty small details? Of course not. Yeah, as the English saying says, the devil is in the details. The devil is in the small print, the small details. Or if I can put it in a completely Kenyan way, shetani amejificha hapo ndani ya details. Yeah, so small details are extremely important because more often than not, they mean a lot. Now recently, I noticed a petty detail, if I can put it like that. Now I'd noticed this small petty detail for quite some time, so I wanted to confirm that actually what I was seeing was there, So what happens? The British Prime Minister visits Kenya. That happened last week on Thursday. And I noticed, of course, that the Deputy President was there. And indeed, in the video footage, there are very many good photo opportunities of the President and the Deputy President together. In some of them, they're on the same photo and both of them are laughing. Or rather in the same situation, in the same moment, and they're both laughing. Now, when I check out the papers the next morning, the Deputy President is conspicuously absent, and more telling, photographs of the President of Kenya, together with the Deputy President of Kenya, are conspicuously absent. So I check around with my friends in the media, and I ask them a very simple question. You guys, kwani have been paid? Where are the photos of the Deputy President together with His Excellency the President of Kenya? Why are they missing? Hizo picha ziko wapi? Ama mmelipwa msichapishe hizo picha? Now the answer I received at first confused me. Because the person responded, even as you have noticed. Even you have noticed the mistake you're making, and you're still making it. And then they tell me an amazing petty detail story. They tell me that the Presidential Press Unit normally delays in releasing the photographs. Yes, the photographs are there, but there's normally a big delay. So what happens? There's normally a deadline for newspapers for the next day. I believe it's normally shortly before 7 p.m. I could be wrong, but it's around that time. So these guys hang on to the photos, and then shortly after the deadline, the photos are released. Too late. It's past the deadline for the newspapers. Now, daily newspapers are on a very tight deadline. They're on very tight deadlines. So there's no way the whole newspaper can be delayed. And it needs to be printed and then transported all over Kenya, mostly by road. And so as the presses are running, printing the newspapers, you can be sure that these pickups which transport these newspapers are revving the engines. Vroom, vroom, and the newspapers are being printed. So that as soon as the first batch comes out, pop, 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 inside the pickup, and off to Mombasa, or off to wherever in the country. Now everybody has to do their job. And you can't tell these guys, sorry, the paper is late because we were waiting for a photograph. No matter how important that photograph is. So the question we need to ask, is this delay deliberate so that the photos never make it on time? And if the answer is yes, what could be the motive? Why are we not supposed to see photographs of the president and his deputy together? Are there some mischievous people somewhere, playing tricks, yeah, with certain objectives in mind, or what is really happening. Now, I need to mention the fact that press deadline, newspaper deadlines, are very important to any presidential press outfit. Very important. Even in the US, yeah, that huge country, yeah, you'll hear members of the presidential press team saying, are we going to make it for the East Coast deadline? Yeah, are we on time for the West Coast? You know, all those kinds of questions. Yeah, press deadlines, very important, because they want to portray their president in a certain way. Yeah, and these photographs and these press releases and these details sent to the press are important. Yeah, because in most cases they'll end up on the front page of the newspapers, and they help to portray and project the image they would want their president to have out there with the public. And the same is true with Kenya. And so, this seemingly petty detail is not petty at all. Yeah, it's important. But let's hold on to that question for a minute and let's move on to something else that is also very much related to what could be happening here. And I will do that immediately after the very brief commercial break. Coming up, don't go away.
Kama mimi siwezi kupeana mkono kule juu, lakini hapa chini kuna hasla mwenzangu nami ninamkumbatia. Mabaya hayo. Si kila mtu huenda kwa saizi yake. Si kila mtu huenda kwa saizi yake. Sasa mimi dhambi niloifanya ni ipi? Tuonane bandarini inshallah.
Welcome back. Now, there have been some very prominent, major, shocking arrests in Kenya, over the last few weeks and months, culminating in the latest, extremely controversial one. Now, you'll allow me a very brief aside here. Some people have been very angry in the comments area. They've been saying, Chris, why are you jumping to conclusions? Why don't you wait and see the case of Deputy Chief Justice Mwilu? Why don't you wait for that case? And then you see the evidence being produced before you jump to conclusions. And of course, these people are missing the point completely. Some of them deliberately so. They know exactly what we're driving at, what the perception of the public is. But some of them don't have a clue. Now, what we're doing here is we're talking about the perception of the public, not the case, not whether the Deputy Chief Justice is guilty or not. Now, a Director of Public Prosecution is normally a very busy person. They cannot prosecute each and every crime committed. They have to set priorities. Now, if you have a situation or a case whereby there's a very huge increase, just a hypothetical example, there's a very huge increase in armed and violent robberies. And in this spate of armed violent robberies, they're suspects. The police have evidence on one or two very powerful people connected to these violent robberies. And then somebody decides they will, instead of prosecuting these violent robbers, they will tell the public we're still investigating. But of course the public knows better, because within that public there's some very informed people. There's some people who could even be closely linked to those cases. They know the inside story. But then the prosecutor decides to focus on a different area. During these very violent robberies, there are few lawyers on the scenes, from Western Kenya. And by the way, I'm a blood lawyer. My mother's a lawyer. Anyway, so they they decide to focus on a few lawyers who get very excited. Because in the confusion of these robberies, these lawyers cannot resist stealing a few chickens. And so the public are very worried about the armed and violent robberies where people are even losing their lives. And then guess what? The headlines the next morning, the main headline is Chicken Thief Arrested. Lawyer charged in court. Now. These lawyers could be guilty or they could not be guilty. That is not the issue. That is up to the court to decide. However, will you blame the public for saying, what's wrong? You guys don't prosecute the violent robbers, but instead you decided to focus on the chicken thieves, even though this lawyer who stole the chicken is quite serious. It's a big fish. And we know lawyers love chicken. I love chicken. I'm a lawyer. I have lawyer blood in me. So would you blame the public for that perception that you're getting it wrong? That instead you should focus on the violent robbers? Yes, it's wrong to steal chickens, but sincerely, if you have to prioritize the issues, will you prioritize and put the chicken thieves at the top of your list while you have armed robbers running free, scot-free, at large? That is my point, over the DCJ Mwilu case. Anyway, let's get back to what we're discussing here. So after these very dramatic arrests, and after the recent outcry by the public, over the DCJ Mwilu arrest, actually the country is divided right down the middle. There are those who can see the problem, but there are those who are still saying nobody's above the law. You can arrest anybody you feel like arresting. Anyway, in the middle of this drama, Raila Odinga comes out and says, Mambo bado, there are many more shocking arrests coming up. Wait a minute, who is saying that? It is Raila Odinga. Is Raila Odinga in government? No. Or maybe the press made a mistake. That statement must have been released by the Deputy President William Ruto. Ama? But when you confirm and reconfirm, you confirm and reconfirm and reconfirm again that actually those words are attributed to opposition leader, His Excellency Raila Odinga. Now, that raises quite a lot of questions. Does it mean that DP Ruto is not in the loop? Is that what it means? Does it mean that DP Ruto is learning about these shocking arrests which are coming up from the media like the rest of us? Is that what it means? Or maybe the Deputy President has just decided to keep quiet about it. He has the information, but he has decided to keep quiet about it. Okay, fine. Let's assume that is the true picture. That's the true reality of the situation. However, how is somebody who is outside the government, Raila Amolo Odinga, making such a statement? Is making that statement as who? Isn't this the same man who told us just the other day that he's not in government? When asked whether he's influencing some of the appointments by the president, because some of the names coming up are people who are seen, who are perceived to be close allies to the leader of the opposition. Raila Odinga was very categorical. I am not in government. I am not involved in any appointments. And now, just a few weeks later, he seems to be involved in the arrests. Wonders never cease in Kenya. Anyway, my point here, observation of another petty detail. The president seems very comfortable next to Raila Odinga. Very comfortable. You cannot say the same about the president anywhere near the deputy president. The body language which never lies, tells us the story. And even if you have no idea of how to read body language, if you closely observe, it will be very obvious, it will be very clear to you. And so it would seem to me, the people who are in charge of the president's image do not want the president associated too closely to his deputy. However, there's no problem with the president being associated with the leader of the opposition. The other part of the handshake, His Excellency Raila Odinga. And that would explain why somebody somewhere is very determined that photographs of the president and his deputy are not found anywhere near the front page of any newspapers in the country. In Kenya, newspapers still have a much wider reach than TV stations. These newspapers are displayed on newsstands. Millions of people pass by and look at the newspapers. Yeah, even many of them don't even buy those newspapers, but they see these photographs and they form an opinion. They form an image on their minds. This is very interesting, yeah, especially in light of the information that some of us have, yeah, about the ongoing battle in Parliament. It's in my latest Club 1999 sensitive video, which explains in great detail everything. Information on how to join is on your screens right now. But it should be crystal clear to all of us that this ongoing battle within Parliament, is being won by the Ruto side. It is being won by the Ruto camp, yeah, the rebels in Kenyan politics today. Because, in case you have not noticed, every single government-sponsored bill in recent times has been defeated. Taxes on petrol, defeated, yeah, although the CS Finance still implemented them anyway. But that is a story for another day. Many other bills have been defeated, including the bill on which our relationship with the IMF hinges on, yeah, the removal of the caps on interest rates. Even that was defeated by the rebel side opposed to the handshake government. That is really what it is. Drama bin drama, rap drama in Kenyan politics currently. There is no doubt about that. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.